The evidence is pretty clear that there was collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russians.
I think there's plenty of evidence of collusion or conspiracy in plain sight.
We saw strong evidence of collusion.
Well, we know there was collusion with people in the campaign.
Well, you had to expect it. It was bound to happen. President Trump's re-election campaign already pouncing on Bob Mueller's report, releasing that video, slamming Democrats for all of those claims about collusion.
Are they helping his bid for re-election? Big question there. Here to weigh in is Republican strategist and CEO of American Majority, Ned Ryun. Good morning, Ned. I see you're getting a little chuckle right now at 5:15 here on the East Coast anyway. What do you think this does for the president going forward?
Well, I think it absolutely helps him, guys. I mean, his 2020 re-election bid I thought was going to be strong anyway, even if the Mueller probe was continuing into 2020. And now I think that he's been cleared of all collusion. And I think the whole obstruction thing is a complete joke. I think Democrats are going to have a really hard time running against him if the economy continues to be strong and all these other policy items of his continue to be a success. But the thing about it, too, that people aren't really, I think, focused on too much is you really think Trump and his supporters, myself included, are going to say, oh, I'm so glad that we've cleared up this misunderstanding and can move on? Heck no. I think the next 2 years could be actually really problematic for the Democrats. I'd love to know where this all started. I want to see the original memo laying out the scope of the Mueller investigation. I want to see the FISA applications. I want to see every last bit of information that spun up this complete hoax and fairy tale that has been used to undermine President Trump, and I really think destabilize our democracy for the last 2 years. We're not going to simply go, hey, glad we're done with this. Heck no. Yeah. Let's continue on and find and get all the answers we deserve.
And what about just, I mean, the frenzy that was whipped up by all of this? I mean, the last 2 years nearly talking about this. I mean, other networks, this is all they've talked about. And their viewers are so invested in this idea at this point. I mean, how do you take people like that and say, hey, get ready to vote in 2020 because we really need you to trust us?
Yeah, and we've been lying to you for the last 2 years. No, I think this is very problematic, Rob, for a lot of people in the mainstream media. I thought they already had credibility problems coming into this administration. I think the last 2 years they've literally poured gasoline on themselves and lit themselves on fire. I don't know how they're going to get people to trust them moving forward because they have pushed, I think, one of the greatest conspiracy theories that we've seen in our history, not only with the mainstream media, but now you've got members of Congress like Adam Schiff and Eric Swalwell and all these others that have been pounding the table, claiming they have proof and evidence of collusion. I'm not sure how any of the American people can take these members of Congress seriously moving forward. But the problem is, you're right, Rob, a lot of the resistance, a lot of the hard left, they have been promised, they have invested so much time and energy and emotional energy into this. I don't know where they go from this, except for they're going to have to spin up something new, or they're simply not going to walk away. I think they're going to try and hang a peg on this whole obstruction of justice, cling to some sort of hope instead of see all of this stuff go up in smoke and flames.
Well, Ned, I think it's not a surprise to anybody that most Democrats not accepting the results of this investigation. You already heard pretty much all of them saying that they want to see the full report. In fairness, people on both sides are saying they want to see the full report. I'm curious if you want to see it, or have you seen enough at this point, and what you would say to the Democrats who are just pressing this right now.
Well, first of all, I have to say, Jillian, I think Democrats are handling the 2016 loss so well. I think that they have finally come to that conclusion they've lost, and I'm being deeply sarcastic. This is one of the greatest political tantrums ever, because they really are. This is all about trying to nullify the 2016 elections. They cannot accept that Donald Trump is in the White House, and I would say he's going to be in the White House for another 6 years. No, this is going to be punishment by process. They're not going to accept these results. They're going to find something new. They're going to continue to pound away at him in hopes that they can somehow weaken him before the 2020 elections. Of course, I want to see every last shred of evidence, because I think that it's going to actually help Trump's cause, Jillian, and to make the argument that I've been making for over 2 years. This is a fairy tale. There was no evidence. There is no evidence. There never will be evidence. And I want people to fully understand that what was being done by people like John Brennan and James Clapper and James Comey and Andrew McCabe was nothing short of a silent coup to take out Donald Trump. It is a shame. It is a miscarriage of justice. And as your previous guest said, the American people have to understand, if we do not protect the rule of law and equal application of it, that has very, very detrimental problems for our republic moving forward. We have to come to the point where we can actually trust our legal system again. And right now, I think we've got serious problems with it.
All right. Ned, thank you so much. We appreciate your time, as always.
Thanks, guys.